Respected all my seniors, whom I see in front of me with great pride. Respected all my friends here, juniors, their families. I stand here in front of you in a watershed of the Indian Railways. And I am sure that what we discuss today during this technical session and the FANCO's conference shares the concern of all of us and the keen resolve to ensure that we get out of that pit which Sanjeev very kindly showed us. Amongst all our seniors sitting here, I would indeed like to take the names of 4 FCs who are here. Shri Paulos, Shri Sivkumaran, Shri Srivastav, and Mrs. Babbar. I would not be here today if they had not bestowed upon me their love, affection, care, and teachings. I would not be here today if I do not acknowledge Shri Akhileshwar Prasad, who's been a teacher and a guide when I was with DOT. I would only like to reiterate to my younger colleagues, look after your juniors as these great people looked after us. Look after the organization. Whatever may be the tools, we must move away from Newton. Newton talks about the inanimate material objects in his laws of motion. Indian Railway has invested a lot on the inanimate material objects. But where is Darwin in us, the origin of species? Where is the human being in our plans? It is us, the human being, the flesh and blood of IRAS and the formations down the line, which is here to lead the next revolution of Indian Railways. Let us take this resolve on this great day when we complete 86 years of our existence. I thank Narendra. Where are you? I thank Sanjeev. Where are you? And I thank Bharat. Today, IRAS is not of railways alone. We belong to the world, the changing world. And it is them who left us yet are with us, whom we treasure. And we thank you, all of you, all 3 of you, for showing us the way forward. For the last 1 month, I was struggling with the idea of how to incentivize startups and how to fund startups in the railways. Sanjeev, now I have you. So, when you said that this is a beginning, the end is going to be far more glorious and you are going to be our partner. Bharat has become our partner and I think on 30th we are going to sign a partnership deed, which I'm proud to say is one of the biggest FDI projects of India in this year. And we in the IRAS have been, right from Mrs. Babbar downwards, I think, have made it as good as possible, especially with regard to the documentation, risk sharing, exit on both sides, and revenue sharing. To Narendra, I think we were in partnership for the last 6 or 8 months when this presentation that he gave We had decided to give it at Baroda in one of the seminars, but we found that the audience there would not really be able to pick up the nuances which all of you must have understood. And the good points we need to take into IRAS, and I think IRAS should start a dialogue to change the way we do contracting based on the ideas which he has propagated. Talking about innovation, I was writing this, I was still writing, in the process of writing, but not yet completed. Hopefully it will complete only after retirement. This book on the history of railway accounting. How did accounting become dynamic from static? We have the fixed static accounting, and that is what is there in the commercial accounting principles. It goes more on static accounting. But the concepts of apportionment, the concepts of delivery, the concepts of sharing revenue while a commodity is on the run is something unique. It started way back with the Phoenicians, who are great sailors. How did the so-called parcel way bill or the goods invoice come? In the times of the Phoenicians, it used to be part of a globe, sealed globe made of clay, baked in a bhatti. Inside it was the facsimile of the stuff which was going from Mesopotamia to Carthage. And it was sealed and given to the captain of the ship. And when it was broken on the other side, if it was broken when it reached, then there's a problem. If it was there intact, it was broken, and they used to see the facsimile. There was a small replica of all the material that was there with some cuneiform regarding multiplication of the number of items of such replica. It was a very curious thing that was there. When was the oldest railway? A place called Pythagos in Turkey. 672 BC. It had solid stone rails. There again, to bring carts into the slushy mud or sands before loading onto ships. Let us come nearer. Where did the standard gauge come from? Horses, right. Two things happened when Stockton to Darlington took place. One thing happened was the great lobby of the British Parliament, which was handled by the so-called moneyed class, the businessmen and the landowners. They would not allow, and the canals were a great, shipping was a big industry then, would not allow the railway to come in. So if you find London, it has got its stations all around the periphery. The Queen, why Victoria is considered such a great queen, was because she gave instant answers. That spark which Sanjeev talked about, she developed sparks whenever ultimately the nation could not resolve an issue. So she gave them that, okay, inside you have horse carriages within the city, but beyond you have your railway beyond stations at the periphery, so that it doesn't pollute the city. London was a smoggy town. And later on, the horse carriages were replaced by the so-called underground. But then the Smithies came to her and said, Your Majesty, what do I do about my trade? Then she asked her, can you not convert your smithies into carriages, carriage building shops? Yes, but then it will cost a lot of money. Keep the same gauge. 2 Arabian horses, right from Roman times, hitched together on a chariot. The width of 2 wheels was 4 foot 8.5. That's the peculiar way of the standard gauge. And that's how the railway came. And this is an innovation which allowed railways to seamlessly come into a transportation scenario and revolutionize it. 25th to 30th of June, we had a concept, or rather it was 18th to 30th, I think, a pakhwada, a fortnight, which we explained to everybody how railways are reaching out to us, to the public. I remember before that, everybody was talking, the media was talking, because our minister is a very media savvy person, but he couldn't handle one item, and that was, how could railway only increase its tracks by 37%? You see, the British had done it up to 1947, so many kilometers. Railway has done only 37% from last 70 years. Nonsense, they have spent and wasted their money. And in that pakhwada, we changed the perception, and from that day nobody talks about it. But in that pakhwada, we said something. We said that 37% has given us 1700% worth increase in passenger and 1400% increase in freight. 3 innovations over the independent India. Number 1, unigauge. Those were the days, those times, the hot system of acquiring of land acquisition bill was going on, and it just caught on to the media. They never realized, yes, unigauge did not need land, and that's what we did. Number 2, block rake movement. Suddenly the throughput woke up. And third, which Sir said, the great revised accounting classification and the invention of the primary unit, through which you could do costing. And that is why today accrual accounting is becoming very easy for us to adopt, because half of it, the work is already done. And for the third innovation, it is us. It is them who did it. And now we have the onerous responsibility of leading the Indian railways to prosperity. 2 things I believe very strongly cannot be fought against. No status quo can happen. 1, technology. Number 2, economics. And we are the custodian of technology and economics in the Indian railways and beyond. I tell all my staff only one thing. As a physicist, I know work done W is equal to force applied into distance moved. Kakoli must have heard this from me from number of times. कोशिश किया सर, हो नहीं पाया. बहुत कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. कोशिश is force. But if distance moved is 0, sorry, work done is 0. And that is the message I wish, with due humility, before my seniors. Work done 24/7, 365 days is what is called for from IRAS and its department. And we shall do it. We shall overcome. Thank you. Welcome again.